Good evening, I'm Sneha Koshy and you're watching Beyond the Headline. Tonight, our focus is on something very important that's unfolding in one very important part of India, around 3,000 feet above the sea level. What are we talking about? You may remember him from The Three Idiots, a role played by Amir Khan in that, Sonam Wangchuk. But today, it's not only about Sonam Wangchuk. It's about what people of Ladakh are wanting. Why are they turning out in such large numbers every day at the venue where Sonam Wangchuk is? What is all this about? What are they demanding in one of the most ecologically sensitive regions of India? But first, the headlines. Centre's big move ahead of Lok Sabha polls. Prices of petrol and diesel slashed by 2 rupees across India. Petrol to now cost 94.72 rupees in the national capital. Election Commission uploads electoral bonds data as shared by the SBI. Donors include big names like Grasim Industries, Apollo Tyres, Lakshmi Mittal, PVR, Sun Pharma, among others. Amit Shah's staunch defense of the CAA in his first interview since its implementation. Home Minister asserts CAA will not be rolled back. He assures the law is not anti-Muslim. Ramnath Kovind-led One Nation, One Poll panel submits report to the President, proposes simultaneous elections in 2029. Panel also recommends amendments to the Constitution. Opposition slams the move. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee suffers major injury in an accident as per a post shared by the Trinamool Congress. The incident took place at her residence. Amid water crisis in Bengaluru, Mirror Now gets you ground report on the prevailing situation. Students and schools struggle without water. And to our big focus, Sonam Wangchuk from Ladakh is a climate warrior. But not a lone warrior. He's on a 21-day fast, at least 3,000 meters above the sea level, amid what emerges as a massive outpouring of support from locals. His fast, he claims, is for a promise that BJP has failed to fulfill. A promise that BJP made twice since 2019. A promise he claims gave BJP a landslide in 2019 in Ladakh as well. A promise that he believes still could be fulfilled by them. A promise of statehood and protection under 6th schedule. Now, what is the 6th schedule? The 6th schedule provides for the administration of certain tribal areas as autonomous entities. Administration of certain tribal areas by autonomous district councils that also have powers to make laws in areas like land and forests, among others. The purpose of this provision, which comes under Article 244 of the Constitution, is to safeguard the interests and culture of tribal populations while also providing for their development. For now, the 6th schedule includes administration of tribal areas in states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. It was in 2019 that Ladakh was carved out into Union territory from erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir with the abrogation of Article 370. But since the chants of freedom from 2019 to the mass gatherings of protest, Ladakh is seeing a sea of change. Wangchuk and the locals, backed by visuals of massive support even during working days as he protests. They believe that this special status will give them the ability to safeguard their very sensitive ecology and a way of life that is closely interlinked to it. I'm being joined right now by no one else but Sonam Wangchuk, the climate activist and innovator who's on a hunger protest in Ladakh. Thank you very much, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, for joining us. My first question, allow me this first question. Why are you and those who are fasting along with you saying that you all are being forced to protest?
So why? The answer is that this is to environmentally safeguard the fragile environment of these mountains. Secondly, it's for democracy. People in Ladakh don't have any democratic rights to choose their representatives to make decisions about this place. And thirdly, it has now become a struggle for truth because 4 years ago we were promised by the current government and the ruling party that Ladakh will be safeguarded under the sixth schedule of the Indian constitution, which is our main demand. And it was more than us, it was them who assured us. In fact, it was twice in the manifesto of the ruling party, and they won heavily, and people voted mainly for this. You can see by my site their publicity at that time promising that Ladakh would be safeguarded under the sixth schedule. After that, they backtracked and dilly-dallied, and finally it came to the end of the tenure. And March 4th, they told our leaders that these cannot be done. So democracy through statehood was the demand, making Ladakh a full-fledged state, or now we say UT with legislature, and safeguarding through sixth schedule. Neither could be done is what our leaders were told after like umpteen meetings, which resulted in nothing.
Sonam Wangchuk, do you see your fast and those who are fasting along with you as a political fast?
Not really. It's more environmental and truth and justice. Political, because we are asking from a political system to keep their promises. Near the elections, why we are doing? Exactly because elections are coming again. We were promised in the previous elections and their term is ending. So when do we demand finally that they must keep their promise? So that's why we are doing. It's more than the coming election. It's a remnant of the last election. And this is the only time we can. Very soon we'll have no standing to demand. And next, we don't know what government will be. And they may not take responsibility for the previous government. So that's why.
Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, how important is this demand for statehood in Schedule 6 for the people of Ladakh?
So why is it important for the people of Ladakh to be safeguarded under sixth schedule? Because Ladakh is a hilly, fragile ecosystem. It's like another planet rather than any place in the planet Earth. So it's very different from rest of India or the world. And it has many sensitive, unique cultures, indigenous tribal cultures. Now, our forefathers were so broad-minded when they were making the Indian Constitution in 1950 and so generous that they decided to not only tolerate diversity but actively encourage diversity. So they kept in the Constitution a provision, Article 244, 6th schedule, which provides autonomous councils to these regions and indigenous people where such indigenous people can send public representatives and they can make laws to govern their own state, because it will be difficult for any other people to understand such cultures and uh, ecosystems. Now, because it is there, and 97% of Ladakhi population is indigenous tribal, and normally it is 50% that qualifies. So we over qualify. And that's why people of Ladakh are demanding that they be safeguarded under this. And not only this, the government had promised it in their election manifestos, not once, twice, in 2019 parliamentary elections and 2020 Hill Council elections in Ladakh, they had promised. So that's why people are all here. Yes.
Mr. Wangchuk, I'm trying to understand. Also, because we're sitting so far away from where you are, is this a talk of the town? Are ordinary people talking about this in their shops, in the streets? Or is this largely a conversation among those who are politically aware?
Okay, let me tell you that this is the only talk of the time. If you remember, on 3rd February, to support this demand and democracy, people from all over Ladakh gathered in Leh, 30,000 of them. You must have seen it. 30,000 of them, which is like 1/3 of the population of Leh district, walked to one place to vote with their feet. And even today, this is a weekday. Normally, people gather at the place where I'm doing this fast, but this in large numbers on Sundays. But today it's a weekday, and I'll show you what kind of gathering it has become. Yeah, behind me, if you see, the lady with the red cap is 87 years old, and there are many in their 90s. And let me try to show you with my camera flipped the other people here. Okay, so these are the people who have gathered just to join in this fast. Some are on 1 day fast, some are on 3 days, 4 days. Roughly 2,000 people are here gathered on a weekday. I don't know how many will gather on the Sunday. This place may not be able to contain them. So this is how much close to people's hearts in Ladakh this issue is become.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wangchuk, for giving us that glimpse. It was so important to understand the kind of context of what you're seeing around, what's happening around you. Just one more thing. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra recently tweeted in your favor, in the favor of Ladakh, the demand for statehood and the 6th schedule. Are you getting the kind of political support that you would have wanted across party lines?
Yes, slowly we see that different political parties are expressing their support. In Ladakh, they have already always supported, including the BJP, who kept it in the manifesto. So every political party, every region, every religion, all have been supporting. Now, nationally, I heard about Priyanka Gandhi ji supporting and Arvind Kejriwal ji supporting. I thank them very much on behalf of Ladakh, but I wouldn't yet say that BJP is lying. We still hold hope that they will keep their promise. After all, this is a party that, that swears by truth and transparency and builds mandirs for Ram. And Ram is the ideals of truth. Ram's ideal would be Raghukul Riti Sada Chali Aaye, Pran Jaye par Vachan na Jaye. So Ram would give his life, but not make a promise. So if this is true that they are Ram Bhakts, then I still want to believe that they'll keep their promise. I wouldn't yet call them liars. It'll be some time before I do that.
Mr. Wangchuk, why have the talks for statehood or status under Schedule 6 failed? What has the government, their representatives, your elected MP, in fact, the only MP for Ladakh right now is a BJP MP. What are they saying are the reasons that these demands cannot be fulfilled? You've also had meetings with even the Home Minister, the representatives of this demand.
That's the problem. There is no reason given. They had promised in 2020, and after that, there was a deafening silence. And in a year or so, it became almost like a crime to even remind them. Now, what people here speculate, and leaders of opposition have clearly said, is that it is because of pressures from industrial lobbies, mining lobbies, business lobbies who do not want to keep Ladakh protected. They want it unprotected, guarded, so that they can do their business here. They can mine the mountains of Ladakh. They can, take huge chunks of land. Already a solar plant is taking prime pastures of the nomadic Changpa shepherds who produce world's finest pashmina fiber. So people are losing land left, right, and center. So therefore, to keep it this way, because of the pressures, government might be, doubtful about their keeping their promises. And now the philosophy behind why we are doing this and why we are making noises is that, like in physics, they say you need an equal and opposite force. So to equal and neutralize this pressure from the industrial lobbies, we have to make at least an equal and opposite noise. Otherwise, they'll buckle under these pressures. But if our voice is strong enough, then they will make a balanced decision. So that's why we consider it our duty to make this noise and make the government make a balanced, good decision.
Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, thank you so much for joining us, for bringing us this very, very important perspective, for being a very important voice from Ladakh. We wish you and everyone in Ladakh the very best.
I, through your media channel, want to appeal to the whole nation to support Ladakh, because it's not just about Ladakh. It's about the nation. Even the glaciers here are supporting whole of North India. 1 billion people depend on the glaciers of the Himalayas. Secondly, it's about truth, and it's about a sensitive, strategic area like Ladakh. If people of Ladakh are alienated this way, it will directly affect the security of the nation. So you are as much a part of it as we in Ladakh are. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, thank you very much, Mr. Wangchuk. That was Sonam Wangchuk who joined us. He's on his hunger protest, along with several others who have joined them. We're trying to understand what is the context around what's happening in Ladakh, a very strategic part of India, a very sensitive, ecologically sensitive area. I'm being joined by R.S. Pathania, who's a spokesperson for BJP, Kamruzman Chaudhary, who's a political analyst, as well as Virag Gupta, who's a constitutional expert. Thank you, all three of you, for joining us. R.S. Pathania, to you first. I do hope that you heard Mr. Sonam Wangchuk speak. He's been very clear. He's given us two specific instances when BJP has promised them very specific promises of, one, statehood, and two, protection under the 6th schedule. We have the visuals of that as well. We have the posters of that, and also the explicit photographs of all of them. Now, what is the problem? Why can't this be done?
Sneha, first of all, uh, great gratitude to Mirror now that you have done a story on Ladakh, and this story should try to put the inside outside. So everything should come out directly to the fore. First of all, Bharatiya Janata Party has a very clear and a specific viewpoint with regard to the ongoing stir in Ladakh. Bharat Sarkar, the government of India, has constituted a high-powered committee led by Mr. Nityanand Rai, which has already taken care of the various demands based on their individual merit. I also was an MLA in 2014 Assembly, and my four counterparts from Ladakh were also part of it. I still remember till still during my school days also that there was a front which was called the Ladakh Union Territory Front. Mr. Thopson Chewang was leading it. We were school children, and we saw the Ladakhis protesting for Union territory. Then one fine day, Nitin Gadkari ji goes in 2014 polls and he says, if Bharatiya Janata Party comes to power, we will give it a full-fledged Union territory. So it was a part of Bharatiya Janata Party manifesto also. Once on 5th of August 2019, Bharatiya Janata Party and Kendra Sarkar fulfilled its promise, and ultimately Ladakh was converted into a full-fledged union territory. Though I think Ladakh might be, if
With
not
the abrogation of Article
with
370 with J&K, that
the
automatically happened with Ladakh as well, correct?
yes, one part we've already fulfilled. Ladakh, I think it has a member parliament. I think if not the lowest, one of the lowest electorates in the entire country. It has one member parliament. It has four MLAs. I think its four MLAs are having minimum electorate in the entire Jammu and Kashmir also. They were MLAs on 20,000, 22,000, and on Jammu and Kashmir, there was an average
Fair
MLA
enough.
for 1 lakh, 1 lakh 10, 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 50, 60 also. We have due respect and dignity for the people of Ladakh. Their demand for protection of the ecology and their specific and distinct culture, we respect that also. They are marking protection for the lands and jobs. Bharat Sarkar has said that we will engage, we will try to locate some formula. Now, another demand with regard to sixth schedule. Let me be very clear and categoric. There is a seesaw battle across the country that the northeastern states, they are being governed by sixth schedule, and the scheduled areas and scheduled tribe areas of rest of the country, they are being governed by the fifth schedule. Now there is a seesaw battle. Sixth schedules
No,
marking
but
fifth schedule,
not
and
all
fifth
northeast
schedule trying
areas
to
are
go to the
governed
sixth
by the
schedule.
sixth schedule. Just to clarify this for our viewers.
Ji, yes, Neha. Sixth schedule, under sixth schedule, there is a specific provision for creating particular autonomous districts and regions, which have separate legislative and executive and even judicial powers to these districts also.
Mr.
But under
Pathania,
fifth
if you could
schedule,
make your
there's
introductory
an
comments in 30,
very
40
very
seconds
simple.
next, because I have to go
There's
to
a
others as well
there's
for the
a
introductory
there's a
remarks.
under fifth schedule, there's a tribal advisory council which has a constitutional status. And in my opinion, that tribal advisory council has greater power, may it be executive, may it be administrative, as compared to the regional council under the sixth schedule. Now, this seesaw
Okay.
battle, six people, those have been granted sixth schedule, they say we want fifth schedule. Those who have been given fifth schedule, they say we need to want for sixth schedule. Now, this dear Ladakh, with four MLAs and one member parliament, they want a separate statehood. We respect that also. We are ready to go into it. But
No,
never, Bharat Sarkar never said no. We never said we will not do it. But with due respect to Sonam Wangchuk ji and his fellow protesters and counterparts also, they have they have
no, let's
fired in
face
the
it,
air. They
elections are
have
going to
blown out the
come.
trumpet.
They have very less time. Any moment from now the dates will be out. He's saying if it doesn't happen this time, the government may come back, may not come back. The promise may stay. All they have with them is the promise of the manifesto, the BJP manifesto, which says that very clearly says the demand for statehood as well as sixth schedule. And then the Hill Council elections happen, and that also BJP made the same claim, same promise. That time the BJP did not talk about seesaws and everything. It did not say that this could happen, that could. But anyway, let me go to others as well to get their perspectives. Kamruzman Chaudhary, how do you look at what's happening in Ladakh, the demand for sixth schedule, protection, special provision under sixth schedule, as well as statehood, the promises which have been repeatedly made by BJP? But of course, this is a much deep-rooted issue. It's as Mr. Sonam Wangchuk is saying, it's for democracy, their ability to be able to make decisions for themselves. How do you look at that?
evening. First and foremost, the BJP finds itself in a between a rock and a hard place with regards to Ladakh, Leh, and Kargil areas. Yeah, this is a classic example of where Modi ka guarantee has failed. Basically, you promise the world to them where you are not able to deliver, and Ladakh is one such example. Their simple demand, we can sum up from Mr. Wangchuk interview, was we need the sixth schedule protection, and we need a legislature for our people to legislate our rules, regulations, and protect the environment of our region. That is the only demand that these people are having. If you can't promise them a state, give them a union territory with a legislature, why are you dilly-dallying on that? I can't understand. They are demanding a sixth schedule protection for Ladakh. You can't, because the simple reason out here, BJP in its myopic policies towards Jammu and Kashmir, in their resolve to withdraw the Article 370 and Article 335A from Jammu and Kashmir, have made all these tribal dominated areas like orphans out here, nobody to care for. You promise something, it's time to deliver, you better deliver. Otherwise, people like Wangchuk, who have got a very tremendous following all around Ladakh, will be sitting on hunger strike in the days to come. Look what the BJP government has done to the state of Manipur, where two communities are completely at war amongst themselves. There's a genocide happening in Manipur, and there is a BJP government in the state with no solution in place. So I say the Bharatiya Janata Party government is very myopic in such policies. In their resolve to spook a particular community, the entire Ladakh problem has been created out here. You take this Ladakh in isolation, it's another problem. You take the Kargil in isolation, it's a big problem. You take the Leh in isolation, there is a big problem. But combining all these three together into the union territory, you have got another bigger problem out here. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'll go back to RS Pathania, but before that, Virag Gupta, let me come to you. Virag Gupta, could you try and explain this to us and to our viewers? What is the sixth schedule in a very layman's term? Constitutionally, how does one decide who gets administered under sixth schedule? Is there a particular ground under which that happens? Or is there a committee that needs to look into it? How is this implemented? Considering there are states that are being given the autonomy under Schedule 6 and there are others like Ladakh that are demanding for it.
Sneha, there are three types of demand, and accordingly we can consider the aspect of sixth schedule. The first is the protection that is regarding the land, job and the culture, that is the first. Second is the self-governance, and third is the border state with ecological their importance. Now, when this both the states were formed, so Jammu and Kashmir has the separate their own legislative assembly, but Ladakh has they don't have, and two options are there. One is the Article 371, which the government is considering. For that, government may have to do the constitutional amendment, and the problem may be there because 370 was abrogated on the basis of that is a temporary provision in the Part 21. And in the same manner, 371 provisions are the temporary, but it's difficult to implement because for that purpose, government may have to the constitutional amendment, and those provisions may not fulfill the aspirations of the Ladakhi people. Now, coming to the sixth schedule, for the sixth schedule, no constitutional amendment may be required, and for that purpose, in the act which was passed in the 2019, in that act itself, provisions may be made for the sixth schedule. But problem is that if the sixth schedule protection is given there, then the similar demand may be there from the adjoining state of the Jammu Kashmir. That is the one thing. Now, secondly, in the sixth schedule, local aspirations may be fulfilled in many aspects. They will get the financial independence to recover the taxes. They can use that fund for the development of school, hospitals and other things. They will have their own laws regarding the family laws, for which we are talking about the UCs and other things. So they can have their own laws relating to the land, culture and the family laws, etc. So for that purpose, as per the sixth schedule, what type of autonomy is given, and there will be a big say of the governor that what type of these district councils will use those powers. So I think sixth schedule can be better options. For that purpose, they will get the more autonomy, and it's easy to implement through the legislative process. But how it can be done, why it should be done, because we have to consider that out of 1.6 lakhs square kilometer area of the Ladakh, almost only 60,000 is within our control, and the remaining portion is in the Pakistan and the China. So this is a border state, and that is a political call depending on the security whole scenario of the area. Accordingly, government has to take a call. But from the constitutional point of view, and the big thing is that sooner these elections will be notified. So in this period, I don't think that as per the model code of conduct, government can even issue any ordinance also for this purpose. So new government has to take any call. But in this election period, this demand may be there so that they can get a commitment, so that new government can implement their commitment as per the after the formation of the new parliament.
Virag Gupta, I'm told you have to leave. So, RS Pathania, allow me to ask him a second question so he can leave after that, and I'll return to you, RS Pathania. Virag Gupta, you heard the BJP spokesperson speak. RS Pathania has said it's got just 4 MLAs, it's got just 1 MP. And a territory so small is asking for statehood or protection or a status under Schedule 6. Now, constitutionally, is that a valid argument? Can that be seen in the light of Constitution? Just because you have the minimal MLAs, minimum MPs, does it not pass the constitutional test to be able to demand this? Considering the promises that have also been made for it.
If we see the population of what are the political promises, I am not concerned, because I have to tell from the legal perspective. Factually, if we see, population of Ladakh is only 2.5% of the Delhi state, and the area of the Ladakh is 40 times more than the Delhi state, and there is only 1 MP. So from the MP perspective, we have to understand that as per the constitutional provisions, last amendment, this delimitation exercise is to be done, and that will happen only in 2026. But for that purpose, population census is to be there, and that census has not happened in 2021, which is the legal mandate and the constitutional mandate. So for that purpose, increasing the MP strength from 1 to 2, this census is required, and after that in delimitation it can be done. Now, second aspect is regarding the population and other things. So we have to understand that in many states, 1 MLA may be there, by which formula only even 1 MLA may not be required in Ladakh. So that may not be the criteria, because the whole area is to be seen, that how much big area is there, and accordingly when even this legislative assembly was there, so a lot of MLAs were there from that Ladakh area. So I think that that population aspect may not be very relevant from considering the 6th schedule or 371 other aspects.
Thank you very much, Virag Gupta, for joining us, for giving us this very important legal, constitutional perspective. Thank you, Mr. Virag Gupta, for joining us. Now, let me just go across to Mr. RS Pathania. Yes, you heard what Virag Gupta spoke about the constitutional requirement. You did mention about having 4 MLAs and 1 BJP MP, but I also have to say, look at the protests that happened last month. It happened bordering Tibet. This is not only an ecologically sensitive area, this is also a strategically very important area for India.
Absolutely.
And there are promises that have been documented, that have been made by BJP in black and white. It's not like they're saying they claim that BJP. I mean, this is there for everybody to see. The place where Sonam Wangchuk is protesting has posters stuck there of the BJP manifesto twice, I think, in 2019 elections as well as the Hill Council election, and we have it on our screen as well. RS Pathania, has BJP messed this up?
I I think, Sneha, there is a communication gap. First of all, let us understand this is an area with a population of 2,74,000 and having 4 MLAs. This the annual budget of Ladakh after 5th of August 2019 that touches 6,000 crores. 6,000 crores for 2,74,000. And on representative side also, let me inform the learned viewers that there are two autonomous hill development councils. The area of Ladakh is divided into two districts. One is Leh district, other is Kargil district. So Leh has an independent Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council with almost 30 councillors, each and every council, and Kargil has Kargil Hill Development Council. Both these councils, they have legislative powers, they have financial powers, and they have the area, they have the ambit of jurisdiction to decide the developmental future of their own
Fair
respective
enough.
areas also.
If you could
So
come
this
to
is
the
not
point
like
that you're trying to make.
that people are bereft of their representative power also. So even then, we don't downplay each and every demand. We say we are ready to talk, we are ready to negotiate the protections for lands, the protection for jobs, even the demands, the remaining demands after 6th schedule. We have not negated that we will not talk. Absolutely not. Nobody has junked the demand. We say this is as you said it very rightly, this is a very sensitive piece of land. And given its position on the South Asian map, a very small inkling can disturb the peace of entire South Asia. And it borders Jammu and Kashmir also, it borders Tibet also, it borders China also. It has a track record of troubles also. So my respectful submission that all these protesting people, and especially Sonam Wangchuk ji, you should patience, perseverance, pragmatism. I think this holds the key, and positivity too. This holds the key. You should engage, you engage, engage, and engage. After all, this is a diverse country. Every flash in a pan, it has a pan-India effect. It has a pan-India consequence. It has a pan-India, we could say, repercussions also. So we should be patient. We should be very patient. And Bharatiya Janata Party is meant for the welfare and well-being of the people of Ladakh. I took you to 90s. There was a demand for union territory. We fulfilled it. There was a demand for Hill Development Council. It also stands fulfilled. There was a demand for greater budget, 6,000 crores for Ladakh. 6,000 crores for 2,74,000 people. World-class roads in Ladakh. World-class solar paneling in Ladakh. World-class tourism
I have to go to
infrastructure in Ladakh. World-class. I don't say...
Addis Pathania, I'm smiling for one thing because Sonam Wangchuk is not here. But I have known him for a while. I've spoken to him a couple of times. I would have loved to hear his response to what you're saying right now. Asking him for patience and perseverance, considering the first time the promise was made in 2019 and now the elections are coming and you never know whether the government will come back or will not come back. That's, of course, a political game, and as people, as voters, everybody has the right to be concerned irrespective of what happens for the in the elections. But Kamruzman Chaudhary, how do you respond to what Addis Pathania has said?
Narrative that suits your agenda, that's fine. That's the game plan of the Bharatiya Janata Party. But you see, when they say that such a small population of 2.5 lakhs, then how are you going to provide for MLAs? How are you going to provide for a legislature for the state? But they hardly forget that Sikkim has got a 32 MLA with a population of around 6.9 lakh. Even Nagaland has got 60 MLAs for a 44 lakh population. Each constituency has got 25,000 voters in their constituency. You have a will, you have got a way. But if you want to say that we have committed harakiri in Jammu and Kashmir with regards to our policy in withdrawing Article 370 and 35A without giving an in-depth thought into what has to be done to a very sensitive border state, then you have committed a blunder. Accept it and come with a realistic solution for the people of Ladakh, Leh and Kargil. I will add the three together because they are all protesting in their individual rights. By the argument and the logic that if we provide for 6th schedule to Ladakh, then other people will also be asking for the 6th schedule protection. They will. If they have got a genuine reason, they will be protesting. They will be asking it. If Ladakh is a sensitive region, then Kashmir is also a sensitive region. If Ladakh is a ecologically fragile region, then so is Kashmir, and so is Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh. So is Lakshadweep. So my limited point out here is that if you have created a problem, better find solutions for the problem. Otherwise, it's better you are shown the way.
Right. I think one thing that is very key, and this conversation could just go on, but with what Sonam Wangchuk has decided, what the people of Ladakh are doing currently, it's a protest that is forcing people to take note of the promises that were made to them and the demands of Ladakh. As there are some who have said, it's a very small part of India, but we all know it's a very significant part of India. It may not have that number of votes, but in election, in democracy, every vote counts. Hopefully, we will see this addressed really soon. For now, the protest by Sonam Wangchuk and scores of other people who are joining him every day is garnering headlines, is gaining a lot of political momentum as well. Aris Pathania and Kamruzman Chaudhary, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us.
Co-presented by Amazing Spaces के लिए